All right, at this time, I'd like to welcome everybody to the PrepNet, Sunday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern. If you'd like to register for the PrepNet, we just request whatever name you would like to be called and what state you're in. Please speak them slowly and clearly. Let me check with the last person, and then I will get on to the next person to make sure I've got everything entered correctly. If you would like to monitoring is fine. When you register, just let us know that you would like to monitor only, please. At this time, if you would like to register for the net, please go ahead.
Mama Katie here, Southeast Tennessee.
Copy that, Katie. Welcome in. We got you registered in Tennessee. Next person that would like to register for the net, please go ahead.
Good afternoon. This is Donna in Montana.
Welcome, welcome, Donna. Always a pleasure, dear. Glad you're here. Next caller, please go ahead. If we have anybody else that would like to register for the net, please go ahead. Okay, we'll continue on, and we'll catch a few people as we go. So tonight's topic is going to be a review of all about electricity. And at this time, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Jim. Jim, if you're ready, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you, Red Bear, and everybody out there. First, this is a quick note before we move on to the topic. A reminder that there is a hard copy of tonight's net available in the description of this extended presentation on our YouTube channel. Some find it helpful to open this file and follow along during my presentation. It should give you a better understanding of the topic's contents, and you don't have to take any notes. So now to tonight's net. Great. The All About Electricity Summary. We have discussed the All About Electricity topic for over 21 nets. We also have 21 expanded presentations and numerous comment and informational videos on our YouTube channel for this topic. I'll provide a quick summary here of what has been presented in each of these expanded presentations so you can see if you have missed anything of interest to you. And please remember, we are not presenting detailed how-to presentations here, but are providing more general information to help you design your emergency power backup. So let's get started. Break. Our first net on the topic was 07A, where we covered saving electricity at home and discussing bugging in. We talked about running only the electrical equipment that you absolutely need, as you will not be able to run your house as you did before the grid went down. There were suggestions of what not to run and what you should run. 07B covered saving electricity in the wild for those who would be bugging out. We covered how to provide power while camping out and the pros and cons of each solution. 07C discussed generators, including their types, sizes, the pros and cons of using a generator. Break. Next, we started our discussion on batteries in 07D. This session covered the small batteries used in portable equipment, such as flashlights and radios. It also explained non-rechargeable batteries and the different types of rechargeable batteries. 07E addressed large battery bank basics, including battery capacity, wiring them in parallel and series, and why you would do that. 07F covered lead-acid batteries, their pros and cons, and why they might not be the best for an emergency battery system. 07G started a multi-part series on building a battery system using lithium iron phosphate cells, and you will get started in understanding the lithium iron phosphate chemistry. Great. At this point, I created two expanded presentations to better explain things that were not easily covered in a voice-only presentation. They were 07 voltage versus amps versus watts versus wire size, which provided definitions of common terms and what they mean. 07 my LFP research and how I got there helped show you how I got to the point of starting the design of my backup battery system. We then continued with 07H, where we got introduced to the charge and discharge characteristics of the LiFePO battery cells and what can damage them. In 07I, we built an example 12-volt battery from individual 3.2-volt LFP cells. This was one of the few more detailed how-to presentations. Great. 07J discussed how to monitor your battery bank, the individual batteries and the individual cells, and why that is important. You need to be responsible for the health of your system. Remember, it's not a toaster you just plug in. 07K covered balancing your cells, what balancing is, and why it's important to the health and longevity of your batteries. At this point, I did a net-only recording of 07 group therapy, which points out how much we use electricity in our daily lives. I did this to validate why this series has been so complicated, has had so many parts, and why it's important for you to have access to emergency power. Right? The 07L tells you what a battery management system does and why it is a must-have piece of equipment. In 07M, we covered how I have configured my BMSs and why. This will show you how to get the most from your batteries and extend their life. We finally got to charge controllers in 07N, which explain the different types of charge controllers and why you don't just connect your solar panels directly to your batteries. 07O talks about what you need to know before purchasing a charge controller. Picking the wrong one in the beginning can cost you a lot in the future. 07P started a multi-part discussion on solar panels, which included what is a solar panel, what are my mounting options, their pros and their cons. Great. 07Q covers the solar panel specifications you need to know about. It is important to know these to make sure you purchase the correct panels. 07R is about wiring solar panels to get the most out of your solar array, which is better, higher amps or higher voltages. 07S, what system protections do I need to have, gives you information on what you need to protect your house from fire and your electronic equipment from damage. 07T, how can you power your AC loads? This covered the types of inverters, their overhead and limitations. Get one that works best for you. Great. And finally, 07U, powering DC loads from your battery bank. Use DC voltage directly from your batteries to power many of your needed items and extend the time your battery bank can provide you with emergency power. If we mentioned any of these nets that you didn't get to hear in the All About Electricity topic, or you haven't watched the expanded presentations, please watch them on our YouTube channel. They are only 6 to 9 minutes long and can be found at youtube.com/@prepnet-talk2me. That's the @ prepnet-talk2me. Great. Also, since I talked about connectors, I thought I should give you some examples of different connectors you might use. This will be an informational video and will only be posted on our YouTube channel. Look for 07 connector types. Next, we'll start a new topic called All About Communications. The first session will start with what is a communication plan, and that you need more than one plan to cover different situations. Future sessions will cover in more detail the different types of communications that might be available to you with their strengths and weaknesses. Great. If you have any questions about what we've discussed here, please ask during the roundtable or send your question to prepnetch14@gmail.com and enter question in the subject line. Next week, we will have our first guest speaker providing a presentation on making tallow soap. Please be there to support TC, and we're looking for more guest speakers to present something related to prepping. So, if you have a quick presentation you would like to share with everyone, please send an email to our Gmail account, and we'll get that going. The more different voices we have here can help us all in preparing for the unknown. With that, I'll turn it back to Net Control.
Copy that, Jim. Thank you very much. I will admit that the All About Electricity presentation was quite long, but at the same time, I have to stress there's a very good reason for it. Electricity is very dangerous, and there is a lot of information on how to safely handle setting up your own systems for prepping. So, Jim, I want to say thank you for breaking this down as far as you did and going in as much depth as you did. I do believe when looking at dealing with electricity, especially maybe in a grid down situation, in an emergency, that's very important. All the plans and everything that you've put forth. Just want to say thank you for that, and I'm going to give a short break. Do we have anybody that would like to register for the net tonight? Please go ahead.
I think I've already registered before, but I'm very excited in the communications part coming up. That's more of my area. I understand a little bit of the let's say electrical side, but communication is going to be more on my part, and I'm looking forward to that.
Copy that. You are registered also, Katie. Do we have anybody else that would like to register at this time? Please go ahead. Well, Katie, I guess we'll go ahead and come back to you really quick here. What are your thoughts on everything? We do have everything on the YouTube channel there, all the nets on All About Electricity, as well as the expanded presentations and the PDF files that can be downloaded with everything. Do you have any questions on anything tonight?
No questions. I love the fact that you have it on YouTube as well because of some especially with electricity, like visual learners like me. But no, I don't have any questions.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Nets going on YouTube because I can go back and catch and pause and take notes, but then the expanded presentations as well, that it just makes absorbing everything in this All About Electricity topic. It definitely helps absorb all this information. So, and I'm glad that we have all this information currently at our fingertips before we have to deal with situations where we need this. So thank you very much, Katie. We'll check again. Do we have anybody else who would like to register for the net tonight? Well, this probably be a short net then. We'll go ahead and move on down to Donna. Donna in Montana. The floor is yours, dear. Go ahead.
I don't have any questions, but I am going to completely agree with all of you that having these nets on the YouTube makes it so much easier because there are a few from the beginning that I missed, so I'm going to have to go back and catch up.
Yeah, and not only that, let's be honest, information like this, until you're actually using it and experiencing it, you don't really fully, take it all in. So, you could always look over the information, and then, of course, when you actually need it in the moment, it's there as well. So that's absolutely awesome.
Yep, I have to agree with both of you on that. So I really enjoy having that information out there. We'll do one last check. Do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net tonight? Please go ahead. Well, Jim, I think the review's going to be a little short and sweet tonight. Do you have any last thoughts, comments, or questions, Jim?
I'll just throw out a couple there. Probably got a light net because the time changed, and everybody's probably their inner clock is probably all messed up. Anyway, yeah, that's the reason I did this summary thing. Is not everybody's been here for everyone, and not knowing what we covered, I thought this would just be a good opportunity to throw out there that we covered a lot of topics, and that you might want to go back and look and to see what we've actually covered. And in the comms thing that we're going to be starting, planning's a big thing of it, and so the first three is literally it talks about coming up with an e-com plan, and then we get into protocols and maybe some little bit technical stuff. But as you're listening to this stuff, if you think that let me break quick. If you think that there's parts of communications that we're not covering, please either bring it up in the roundtable and or send a comment or something to our email account. That way, if you guys might trigger something to where, okay, I'll go ahead and cover something, because I don't want to get too terribly technical, because we just finished one that was super technical, and I want to be a little bit more general on this. So just sort of remember that if there's things that you want to get some information on, please let me know what they are, either via email or when we do a roundtable. So other than that, I don't have anything except that TC, I was hoping he'd be here tonight, is doing his tallow soap thing next session. So I'm sort of looking forward to that. So with that, I'll throw it back to net control.
Thanks a lot, Jim. Yeah, we're very excited about TC and his tallow soap presentation there. So, if you have any thoughts about the communications, definitely shoot us an email. The email address is prepnetch14@gmail.com. Again, that is prepnetch14@gmail.com. And just put in the subject line communications, and go ahead and let us know your ideas and your thoughts there. Katie, you may be interested in maybe making a net presentation on this as well.
Oh yeah, if given some of the topic on it, I probably could. I'm did a whole lot of planning and things like that, of course, especially even like in a business setting, you do it on a personal basis, like at home, but also there's business settings, especially for like management and things like that actually require such plannings and procedures and policies and all of that. So yeah, that'd be cool. Anything you need, just ask, let me know, and I'll see how I can help.
So then, Katie, if you have any ideas or thoughts of how you could possibly put together a presentation for one of the nets, definitely email that in. Let Jim look it over, and we may have you as a net host, and you may be running the net for the night. So that'll be a good thought for you there in the communications topic. So just thought I'd bring that up real quick.
Thank you.
One last check. Do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net? Please go ahead. Well, Jim, I'll turn it back to you for any last thoughts, comments, or questions.
No, nothing new. Good if Mama KT could do that. You know, cover some stuff that maybe I might miss there, but anyway, get other voices out there, so it's not just us slapping our gums. And as we found in some previous roundtables, a lot of good information has come out, and I've actually created a couple of nets based on what actually happened during the roundtable. So, getting people involved and hearing their feedback, what their questions, like you say, questions, concerns, are we covering what you guys want to hear about? And it has actually made a difference. There's probably been maybe 10 either informational videos or comment videos or actual increased nets that have been created from everybody's feedback and comments. So, as they say, keep those cards and letters coming in.
I think this also would be a good net to promote to, certain businesses and stuff. I mean, obviously, if you have big companies and things like that, they've already got all this set in place. But you never know what kind of companies lack this, and it's extremely important.
That might not be a bad idea. You never know.
I'll jump in here. Yeah. Again, comms can be very complicated. I'm trying to run through all the different types of communications. I mean, we're on communications right now, cell phones, text messaging, but they do have the negative side of they require an infrastructure. And so when things get bad, it wouldn't necessarily mean an EMP, but I mean, you can have regional outages, and you need to know, what are my options when this POC radio doesn't work? What can I now go to? And who do I need to talk to? How far away are they? What capabilities do they have? Yeah, all that needs to be planned up. And Mama KT, it sort of sounds like you understand that. You just can't say, okay, everybody, we're going to talk this way, and then find out half of them have no idea how to do that. And so your communication plan just falls apart.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hopefully we'll be able to meet everybody's needs. And again, if not, let me know. So we can I'll either do something, or if you've got something that you can throw out there, as a guest speaker, I'd say we should do that, and get much more information out there so people can make a decision.
Absolutely. I really appreciate all of this. This is valuable information. If people would only stop and realize the knowledge that you have in your hands to share with us, that is actually very valuable.
Well, we appreciate that. And again, it's not, our YouTube channel doesn't just have this all about electricity. There are many more what we did prior that's talking about different things, talking about food, bugging in, bugging out, coming up with plans, practicing your plans and stuff. So there's a lot more there on the YouTube channel than just the all about electricity thing, which is what we did the summary of tonight. It would probably take 3 nets to do a similar summary of everything that's actually up there on the YouTube channel. So anybody listening, I would encourage you to go there, start from the beginning, because again, the next net is built upon the prior net until we get into a new topic. And then if that topic is a multi-part one, we build upon what was done last week and the week before, etc. So that way we don't have to continue to repeat everything in each net. So anyway, back to you, Red Bear.
Copy that. Thank you very much, Jim. Thank you, Katie, and thank you, Donna. I'm just going to do one last quick call out here. Do we have any other last thoughts, comments, or questions about the net tonight? Please go ahead.
I just want to say that I think it's great that there's this community, this group getting together and talking about this stuff, because it wasn't all that long ago when prepping was considered a really weird thing. People didn't understand, and if you mentioned it, they kind of looked at you funny.
Well, I remember that time as well. And I also remember growing up that my mother had a huge pantry, always stocked. And I always wondered why. Well, I woke up one morning and the front door was drifted shut. And I don't mean just a couple inches at the bottom of the door. We had to shovel a tunnel to get through the snow that day to get out of the house. So I knew why we had food stored and why we were ready to go when I was younger. And that in itself got me interested in prepping.
Yeah, exactly. I remember just a year or two before COVID hit, we went and did, we always had an annual shopping expedition, we used to call it, where we'd save up during the year and then buy a whole bunch of stuff to set aside. And we ended up with tons and tons of paper towels and toilet paper. And let me tell you, we got some really awful comments until after COVID hit.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. As soon as COVID hit, next thing you know, we were in a toilet paper shortage. So, yeah, the people that were calling you crazy for trying to stock up on things and stay prepared had a panic attack. So, while you were sitting back all cool, calm, and collective, didn't want to deal with the mess, but you were ready for the mess. So, they weren't. That's definitely one of those moments where you just want to say, here's your sign.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. Sort of about the COVID thing is, some people want to prepare for a specific thing. We had not prepared specifically for a pandemic. We sort of prepared for the world coming to an end deal. But everything that we did literally worked completely for when we had the shutdown. We didn't go hungry. Everything that was off the store shelves we had here, and it was like life went on literally normal. There was the biggest thing was I had to put on a mask if you actually had to go into town to get milk or something. But being preparing generally is a good thing, because that can go to all sorts of different things. And the more prepared you are, just the less stress you're going to have. It's going to be inconvenient. It's not going to be the life-threatening what am I going to do? I'm worried, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to be, okay, not a problem. I'm not going to worry until I start running out of the supplies.
Exactly. And honestly too, looking at it from another angle, it's just another angle. I know there's like 1,000 angles, but people who suffer from, mental health issues and things like that, understanding that being prepared will help in the heat of the moment where you can't function. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, exactly. And the more a person is prepared, uh, it can bring a calming effect on people that are around you that actually haven't prepared. Because, they're running around, what am I going to do? And you're calm, you're collected, you can offer advice, you can offer help, you may have extra supplies, etc. Although I am, unfortunately, of the opinion that if you don't prepare, do not expect me to help you survive. I'll help you out, but that's it. I'm probably kind of bad about that. But yeah, and then you've already figured out a lot of stuff, and you can make their lives better just by your calming effect and saying, okay, oh, gee, your well doesn't work anymore. Oh my God, you didn't store water. What are you going to do? Let me break. Something 99% of the people don't think about. You got a hot water heater. That's potable water. Hot water heaters are what, 30 to 50 gallons? So you had stuff stored you didn't even know you had stored. And with us as people who prepare and think about things like that, we can tell them, oh, your well's out. In our case, we're rural. Your well's out. Do you have any stored water? No. You got 30 gallons in your hot water tank. Oh, you got 2 hot water tanks. Great. You're good to go. So, it's well worth it to do it. And I think it makes you have much more peace of mind that you don't want to see something happen. But, if it does, you're much more prepared than 99% of the people out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like you just said, there's information out there that you just don't even think of until someone brings it up. Like you just said about the water heaters. I didn't even think of that. I literally didn't. But I'm just like, oh, man, there you go. So, yeah, this is very valuable information.
Right. And sort of what you said right there, that's the whole point of what we are trying to do here. And we're not doing, super detailed how-tos, because that's not the point. The point is get you thinking. Think way outside the box, and what works and you have to do for you is different than what works and what I have to do for me because of my situation, my location, what threats are up here. I don't have to really worry about flooding. If I'm at 6,000 feet on a plateau, if we get a flood up here, the rest of the world's got a lot bigger problems than what I'm going to have to deal with. So I don't have to prepare for that. I don't have to prepare for a hurricane and things of that nature. So we just wanted to provide as many possibilities as possible. Just think about it. So anyway, yep. And see, even though we only have a couple of people, we still end up with a pretty decent roundtable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, I have to agree also. We definitely had a pretty good roundtable here tonight. So a lot of information shared still, and, we're all learning a little bit from each other as well. I'm just sorry that everybody else is missing out tonight. So, but Jim, I'll check with you real quick. What do you think? Do we want to go ahead and wrap this up?
Yeah, we might as well. Go ahead. And nobody else is coming in there. And again, that's the other thing I sort of wanted to stress. That's why when we get to the end, that I said if you have any questions about what we talked about tonight or anything prepping, is it might be a topic where there's really no questions. It's sort of cut and dried, or there's no interest or whatever. But that doesn't mean you might not have questions about other topics and bring them up. That's sort of what we did here today, which is fine. But otherwise, no, I think we're good. Again, looking forward to next week, so I can sort of get a little bit of a break and learn how to make that tallow soap, because I make my own laundry detergent, but I want to see how that tallow soap thing works. So with that, I'll turn it back to you.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in learning about this tallow soap myself, and so is Damage, my fiance. So I think it's going to be a really good net, and definitely excited that it's TC bringing it to us. So, but with that, at this time, Montana Jim and myself, this is Red Bear. We would like to turn the channel back over to regular operating procedures. We'll give a last call for any questions, comments, or concerns about ending the net. Okay, with that, Montana Jim and myself, Red Bear here, we'd like to say thank you to Mama Katie and Donna for joining the net tonight. If you were sitting back monitoring this week, maybe next week, with TC's tallow soap, you might step up and go ahead and register with us and let us know that you'll be monitoring only. We would be very grateful for that. But at this time, we'll turn the channel back over to regular operating procedures. Want to say thank you to everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend here and a good start to the week.
Y'all too. Have a blessed one.